Hey everyone, it's Miss Marnick with Tables 1, our very first tables video. There are going to be a lot of these, so just keep watching if you're having trouble with this and need some extra help. So for all of the tables on this page, the variable is B, boxes, and then the variable C is cost. So in this table, the input B, that's all of the boxes. The output C is how much they all cost. Our think aloud to help us remember what to do. Number one, first thing you do is ask yourself from input to output. So input to output. Do the numbers go up or down? If the numbers go up, then we know the operation could be addition or it could be multiplication. If the numbers go down, we know the operation could be subtraction or division. And of course, we would draw our arrow going up or down. And then figure out the rule. You can look at our examples below. So let's start with number one. First thing, from input to output, are the numbers going up or down? 68 to 57, down. 69 to 58, down. 95 to 84, down. So I'm going to draw my arrow going down.
It's going down. I'm yelling timber. You better move. You better dance.
And of course, take a little break to sing. Then if the numbers go down, the operations could be subtraction or division. So I'm going to put that on either side. And now I'm going to check. So here's a reminder here to check for addition or subtraction. You can subtract the two numbers to tell how far apart they are or divide them to tell the difference. So 68 and 57, my bigger number is 68. I'm going to start with subtracting. So 68 minus 57, I get 11. So since I subtracted that, I'm going to guess it's subtraction, but I need to see if I have a pattern by checking the next one. So 69 minus 58, I get 11 again, so that's a good sign. Let me try one more time. 95 minus 84, I get 11 again. So minus 11 works every time, so that's what I'm guessing my rule is going to be. To prove it, I have to show my work down here. This time I'm going to start with my input, 68, check my rule, 68 minus 11, and just make sure that, oops, not 68 minus 1. Make sure it matches, good, 57. And I can see my output is 57, so that's correct. I'm going to put a check with 68. Now let me try 69 minus 11. Use my calculator. I get 58. If I check, 58 is in my output, so I know that's correct. Check. Now I'm going to test out 95 minus 11. I get 84. If I check my output, 84, check, that works. So since my rule worked 3 times every single time, I officially know that my rule is minus 11. So I'll put that right in there. But I still have to solve for my output here. So the input was 14. If I take 14 and subtract 11, I get an answer of 3. So I can put a 3 in the box and know that I am good. There's number one. Let's go over here and look at number two. First thing I do, from input to output, do the numbers go up or down? 7 to 19, up. 90 to 102, up. I have a blank here, so I can't check this. But 8 to 20, that's going up 2. So I'm going to draw my arrow going up. That means my operation could be addition or multiplication. So I'm going to put addition here. I'm going to put multiplication here. And then I'm going to decide which one I want to check. So I'm going to check with addition first. So just like over here where I could check with subtraction or division, to check to see if I get a pattern, I'm still going to check with subtraction or division, even though I'm checking for addition. So 7 and 19, this time my bigger number's on my output. So I'm going to take my bigger number, 19, minus 7, and I get 12. So I'm going to put, since subtraction is what I use to check, addition is the inverse operation, so I'm going to put 12 here and try it out with the other numbers. So 90 and 102, bigger number, 102, subtract 90. Ooh, I get 12 again, so I'm seeing a pattern. Let me just check 20, the bigger number, minus 8, and I get 12 again. So that is gonna be my rule. Now I just have to prove that it works. So starting with my input, 7 plus 12 equals 19. Check that off, I know that's good. If I do 90 plus 12, I get 102. Sorry, 102. Check that off, I'm good. I can't check this one because it's blank, so I'll jump down to 8 plus 12, and I get 20. So that works too. So I officially know plus 12 works, so I'm gonna write it in my box for my rule. Our rule is add 12. I still have to figure this out though. But this time it's on the input side. So I have something plus 12 equals 70. This is a missing addition problem. So I can use the inverse to help me check, which is subtraction. So I'll take my total, or my bigger number, 70, then the opposite of my rule, opposite operation, minus 12 equals, if I use my calculator for 70 minus 12, I get 58. So I'm going to put a 58 right here in the box. And just to double check, I have all these check marks. I want this to have a check mark too. So I'll do 58, and then my rule, plus 12, equals, let's see, 58 plus 12, 70. And that's what I got. So check, it matches. All right, let's try number 3. First question I asked, from input to output, are the numbers going up or down? 64 to 45, 98 to 79, 59 to 40.
It's going down. I'm yelling timber. You better move. You better dance.
Draw your arrow going down. If it's going down, it means subtraction or division. I'm gonna look input, output. My bigger number is 64. I'm gonna use subtraction to check first. So my bigger number is 64 minus 45, and I get 19. So I'm gonna put 19 here, and I'll test it out for the rest. So let me just check 98 minus 79, 19 again, 59 minus 40, 19 again. So it was all 3 times, so I'm gonna circle this and just double check to make sure that's my rule. Okay, I jumped ahead here. I did 64 minus 19, got 45, check. 98 minus 19, 79, check. 59 minus 19, 40, check. So now I know my rule is officially minus 19, and I can figure out what goes in this box. So input 20 minus 19 equals 1. So my number that's going to go in my box there is 1. Let's try number 4. Number 4, I'm going from 89, from input to output, 89 to 98, up, 69 to 78, up, 68 to 77, up. So my arrow is going up. That means it's going to be addition or multiplication. So plus or multiply. Just like up here, I can subtract or divide to check and see what works. So I'm gonna try subtracting first. So if I take my bigger number is 98, I'm looking for the difference of 89. I get 9. I'm gonna put that on the plus side because it's the inverse operation. And then I'm gonna check my other ones, and I find that 78 minus 69 equals 9 too. And then 77 minus 68 also equals 9, so I'm guessing that's my rule. Let me show my work to prove it. If I do 89, take my rule plus 9, I get 98, so that checks off. 69 plus 9, I get 78, check. 68 plus 9, I get 77. So I can check that off too. It worked every single time. So now I can figure out what goes in this box here. So since my rule is officially plus 9, I need to know something plus 9 equals 64. So this is a missing addition problem. To check, I'm going to use the inverse operation of subtraction. So 64 minus 9, plug that in, and I get 55. So I'll put 55 right here in my input. And then just to double check, if I put in the input 55 and I do the rule plus 9, and I add that together, I'm going to get 64. So I can check it off and I'm good to go. Okay, on the back of tables 1, you'll notice that our tables are going horizontally instead of vertically like they were doing on the other page, but you still do everything exactly the same. So I need to look from input to output, are the numbers going up or down? So be careful, input is the top, output is the bottom. So I'm going to look from 90 to 78, that's going down. 76 to 64, going down. 94 to blank, I don't know yet. 89 to 77, it's going down.
It's going down. I'm yelling timber. You better move. You better dance.
All right, to draw your arrow, subtraction or division are our choices. I'm going to check the difference between the bigger number and the smaller number. So I'll check with subtraction first. When I do 90 minus 78, I get 12. If I do 76 minus 64, I get 12 again. Skip 94. 89 minus 12, I get 89 minus 77, I get 12. So that's how I know 12 is my rule, but now I have to show my work to prove it. So take 90 minus 12. If you plug that in your calculator, you are going to get 78, so that checks off. Now test 76 with the rule minus 12, and you're going to get 64. That checks off. Now I'll skip 94 and go to 89 minus 12. That equals 77, so that checks off. So since it worked 3 times every time, I know my rule is minus 12. So now I can figure out what goes in this box here. So I always go from input to output. So my input is 94. My rule is minus 12. If I do 94 minus 12, I get 82. So I can put 82 right there, check it off, and I know I'm good to go. Let's look at number 6. All right, I always ask from input, top row, to output, bottom row. Are the numbers going up or down? 14 to 23, up. 41 to 50, up. 33 to 42, up. And then I can't check that one yet. So start with my up arrow. This means addition or multiplication. I'm gonna test for addition first. To do that, I'm gonna use the inverse operation, which is subtraction. So if I do 23, because that's my bigger number, and subtract my smaller number, 14, I get an answer of 9. So I'm gonna put 9 here with addition, because it's the inverse of subtraction, and see if 9 works every time. So next I would do 50 minus 41, I get 9 again. 42 minus 33, I get 9 again. So I'm seeing a pattern. Let's double check and make sure it's the rule. Take my input number, 14, plus 9. If I do that, I get 23. Check. Input number, 41, plus 9. I get 50. Check. And finally, 33 plus 9. If I put that in my calculator, I get 42. So plus 9 works every time, so I can put it in my box that my rule is plus 9. Now this time, my missing number is in my input. So I have something plus 9, my rule, equals 19. This is missing addition, so to solve, I'm going to do 19 minus 9, the inverse operation, and I get an answer of 10. So I'll put a 10 in my box. Just to double check to make sure it works with the rule, take your input, 10, and the rule, plus 9, and you get 19. It checks off. One more to go for tables 1. First thing I do from input to output are the numbers going up or down. 81 to 100, it's going up. 12 to 31, up. 49 to 68, up. So I'm going to draw my arrow going up. That means my choices are addition or multiplication. To check, I'm going to use either subtraction or division. I'll start with subtraction. If I take my bigger number here, 100, and subtract 81, the difference is 19. So I'll put it with my plus sign, because that's the inverse of subtraction, is addition. Now if I take my bigger number here, 31, and do minus 12, I get 19 again. If I take my bigger number 16, minus my smaller number 49, I get 19 again. So I know that I have a pattern of plus 19. Let's check it out and make sure it works for the rule. I take my input number, 81, take my rule, plus 19. When you add those together, you get 100, which matches my output. Now I'll test out 12 plus 19. You get 31, which also matches my output. Now let me test 49 plus 19. You get 68, which matches my output. Since it matches 3 times, I'm confident that my rule is plus 19. I'll put it right there. Now I can solve for this box. So I have 94 is on the input. Then I use my rule, plus 19. When I add those together, I get 113. I'll put 113 there and check it off. All right, there you go, tables 1.